One of the biggest goals that I have for myself in quarter 1 is health and weight loss. And one of the biggest challenges I have in this space is eating food out. We're thinking takeout, restaurants, anything like that. But thankfully, most weeks I'm only eating out maybe 1 to 2 times a week. Once for date night and once for something else. This week gone though, I had 5 events that included eating food that I didn't prepare myself, which makes keeping in your calorie deficit and keeping good track of the things you're eating just a little bit more difficult. But not only this, with having the frequency of these social events in my calendar, first of all, yay, fun, social events, but secondly, oh no, no time for myself and to work on my goals and projects. Or at least a reduced amount. That was definitely a fun circumstance to tackle during what was also the midweek point of our quarter 1 challenge. But even with these extra social obligations, I still had a decent priorities list that I wanted to work on across the week. This one covers most of the goals that I have for myself, but of course, along with these priorities, we also have the routines that I'm trying to keep track of on a daily basis. At the start of the week, the board is clean, but I'm hoping to get a good chunk of green on here, especially given the difficulties that I'll probably have with the calorie deficit. But to see how I got on, we're gonna have to jump back to Monday morning. Good morning, happy Monday. The day has started well, got my laundry on, went for our walk. I have my overnight oats with my apple pie filling, and by that I mean essentially stewed apples. Very tasty, very much looking forward to a week of overnight oats. But what I'm actually kind of getting a little nervous about is the number of social commitments I seem to have this week. I didn't really realize as I was organizing them, but because we postponed presentations day, that's now on the weekend, I already have Midweek Mafia Hangout like we do every week, but it is also the week of the Friday the 13th, so we like to do a spooky movie night, so I've got that one. And then my mum's friend is in town, so the 3 of us are going for dinner, so there's that. And it's Vogel's mum's birthday today, so we're going out for that. So 5 days? 5 of my days this week include some kind of social commitment, and all 5 of those include eating out, which isn't necessarily aligned with my health goals. A lot of the time, at least, when I go to an eatery or a restaurant or whatnot, the options available to me are not necessarily the best ones for keeping within my calorie deficit that I'm aiming for. And I feel like if I had have planned accordingly, I might not have picked overnight oats for the week. It's a little bit more calorie dense compared to what I was having last week, like yogurt and berries and whatnot. But I had 2 weeks in a row of yogurt and berries, so I'm still looking forward to my oats. I do think that having a lot of social commitments on though is also kind of a blessing for myself, because it means I'm gonna get out of the house and see people and, you know, recharge my social well, I suppose. And it'll also make it so that I'm more likely to hold my work boundaries, because I'll have that kind of healthy pressure at the end of the day, like you have to be finished by this time because you need to go and see these people or go and do this or host these people or whatever else. So I'm looking forward to it. First thing to do though is write a list for the day. I've already actually got the semblance of a list kind of set up, but I need to go and add some more information so I know what I'm doing with my day. Especially because having the healthy pressure of that social commitment that we have later today means that I do need to finish work at the kind of like end of work time. I can't really let it bleed out into when dinner would be, or like go a little later than usual, because I need to get in the car and go somewhere. So knowing what I have to work on so that I can make the most effective use of my time is kind of important. Feeling fresh, feeling clean, ready to start the day. Up first, of course, we have the Epic Goals work along, which is just a great opportunity to get things done. It definitely holds me accountable to getting my vlog edited in a timely manner each week, and I very much appreciate that. If you wanted to join us over there's a link in the description box, or you can scan the QR code on screen. But effectively, we have an accountability session every week where we work along together and get goal stuff done, whether that be actually tackling action steps, setting up our planners for the week so that we know what's coming up, or in my case, vlog editing. And we'd love to have you over there. At this stage, I haven't necessarily decided what I'm going to move on to after vlog editing, but that's a future me problem. It's one of those instances of like, oh, there's so many things you could do, but what is the most pressing or the most urgent or going to be the most impactful to do today or whatever? Because normally it would just be a general work admin type block, but I'm like, maybe I use that for a little bit of work-related goal-getting stuff. And one thing I definitely want to get in the routine of as I'm trying to build out my B-roll library is after I edit any week's vlog, then going back through all the clips and taking out the ones that could be used for future me. Like they are a really good example of something or show me doing something that I could use for B-roll in a different video. I figured that because I will have already edited the vlog, it means that I will have a bit more familiarity with the kind of clips that are in there, so I can go and cherry pick the ones ones that would be best to keep for later. So that'll probably be part of my editing process for today. I've been getting things done. Vlog editing is going well. I'm currently like halfway through Tuesday's footage. No, I'm almost at the end of Tuesday. Okay, slightly more progress than I had thought, which is good because there's about an hour till lunch. But a very exciting email just came through saying that I am invited to the first day of New Zealand CreatorCon, which I wasn't sure if I was going to hear back or when I was going to hear back, but they essentially put out a kind of call saying, hey, if you're curious about going to this event, register your interest here. We'll let you know further details in the future. I didn't realize that they had a like special day one or something that they only invited certain people to, so that's kind of cool. I have absolutely no idea what it's going to be like or what it's about or when I need to be where, but I am excited. Well, okay, I know it starts at 9:30 a.m. because at least says that on the website, but outside of that, I don't know. And this year at least I'm actually available for when it's on, because last year I was at Go Wild, so I kind of got back from Go Wild and then saw all of this advertising about the CreatorCon thing or whatever after it had already happened. Like, I found out about it a day after it was finished. But that's very exciting. It seems like they also have a day 2, which is the paid part of the convention, which is more educational and has international speakers and stuff like that. And I kind of feel like if I'm gonna bother going to Auckland to go to the free part, I might as well just stick around for another day and go to the paid educational part. I don't get a lot of opportunities for in-personal professional development like that, so I think it would be a good thing to take advantage of. But that is a future decision to make. Right now, I need to continue editing the vlog. My morning work sessions are done though, so it is time to go have some lunch. I'm having my mini Thai chicken patty with my little cucumber salad, which is very tasty and it just feels healthy. I think it's probably the cucumber. And then we're gonna get right on back to editing because I have not made quite as much progress on the vlog from last week as I would have liked to, but the train is moving and I am on it, so at least there's that. I must have jinxed it because it is now 4:20. I have only just finished editing last week's vlog. That one is now exporting at the very least. I'm kind of thinking that this week I might try and do a little bit of vlog editing as the week progresses so that then next week I don't have the same problem, because as mentioned, I would very much like to be processing the vlog footage the week that I was also editing the vlog, but with the time I have now left for the rest of the day, I don't think I'm going to be able to process this footage. I might be able to make a start on it, but I do need to wait for the entire thing to export first, so we will see. I'm trying very hard to not get too down on myself about how much I got done today, because it just is what it is. And making myself feel bad doesn't actually get more done. What I need to do now though is get ready to go out, because this is one of 5 days where I am having dinner not at home this week. Which, like, yay, going out and having meals with people, like friends and family and all of that, that's nice. But at the same time, I do worry for my health goals. In particular, my calorie deficit. Because it's kind of hard to know if you were in a calorie deficit if you don't prepare the meals yourself. You don't really get an accurate read on the caloric value of the foods, unless like you're just eating lettuce with no dressing or something, which does not sound very appealing to me. Well, we had a most pleasant evening out, but I am glad to be home because I'm tired. Dinner was super tasty. The menu at that place is really good, and I definitely want to go back and try some other things. But every time I go, I'm just like, ooh, steak. And I think it's borderline as to whether I was within a calorie deficit. I tried to log what I could from the meal in terms of the stuff that I know was, you know, roughly what I consumed or whatever based on the plating and the menu and whatever. So I'm probably going to give myself a yellow box for this one because it's not necessarily assured that it was within the calorie deficit. Did get my 2 liters though, did not get my step count, and given the fact that it's 10 to 10, I don't think I'm going to get another 2,000 steps today. We'll just try again tomorrow. After a slight delay, it is now time to actually go to bed, 20 past 10. Oh well. I guess I don't get a check mark against that one either for today. It's all good. We might do better tomorrow. I would say we will do better tomorrow, but then I feel like I'd be jinxing it, so. Good night. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I almost said Monday. I'm already confused. That's a good sign. Yeah, okay, not really, because we actually have a lot to do today. We have exercise, get ready for the day, that kind of stuff already, but video planning is going to be a main focus in terms of work time. We also have a meeting with the bank, meeting with the people who were doing the property evaluation last week. They're coming back to give us the details. Claire is getting a clean. Vogel's already at the groceries. I don't need to worry about that. But the midweek mafia hangout is today because Monica wasn't going to be free tomorrow. So something to look forward to, but still something that kind of like, you know, caps off my work time today, which isn't necessarily bad. Sometimes we need help with holding our own boundaries. I just need to make sure that I am mindful of that boundary to be held and the other things that are going to steal my time in terms of work today so that I am focused and I get things done. For right now though, the thing to get done is my walk. I'm starting to get to the stage where I'm thinking, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we got to a 300-day streak? And then by that math, you're like, okay, might as well just keep going. Wouldn't it be so cool if we got to a 1-year streak? Still a little way off. I'm only at like 260 or something, but I need to remind myself that even if I'm apprehensive, I never regret going for a walk. I mean, if I ever came to a point where I went for a walk and like I'm maimed or something, yeah, I'd probably regret that. But on a typical day, no, it's always good. Today for breakfast, we're having overnight oats with smashed apple, which I probably won't eat all of that smashed apple, just like some. But it essentially makes what I like to call apple pie overnight oats because there's cinnamon in the base and like, you know, brown sugar flavoring and whatever else. And then you put the apple on top and it's really yummy. One of the things I'm kind of thinking about this week in terms of eating food out and such, especially for today, because I know it's food out at a fast food establishment, is this tendency that I have had to, for many years now, I always get the upsize. Like, I'm not getting the medium, I'm getting the large. We're not getting a single, we're getting a double. We're not getting a 6-pack, we're getting a 10-pack of nuggets type of a thing. And while I have noticed this about myself, I haven't very actively worked to change that narrative for myself. I feel like I kind of built it into my personality as like, oh yeah, Jess is the girl who upsizes. And I don't just do that with takeout, I do it with like, you know, other areas of my life as well. But I do think that that tendency when it comes to takeout is very detrimental to my health goals. Because typically speaking, if I'm eating takeout, it's not food that's particularly aligned to start with. So doubling down on that and getting the large version doesn't really help. So in knowing that I'm going for takeout tonight, and knowing that we are going to Subway, which at least is a slightly better option than some of the other ones I could get. It's not necessarily good, but it is better. I'm thinking to myself, okay, can we make a plan so that then when we get there, instead of just defaulting to, you know, the foot long with all of the toppings or whatever else. I say all of the toppings. I'm a basic Betty. It's usually like lettuce, tomato, cucumber, chicken fillet, honey mustard sauce on a wheat bread with salt and pepper. Like that's it. But instead of getting the foot long, could I just be fine with a 6-inch and maybe take a little pack of fruit or something if I felt like I needed more food? So we're gonna hold me to this, okay? If I do not show you an image of my 6-inch wrapped up, then that means that I got a foot long. It means that I have let myself down here. I'm setting this very specific target for myself. And it has to be wrapped up because if it's already unwrapped, she may have already eaten half of that sandwich. Now I just need to remember to actually take footage of the 6-inch wrapped up. I'm sure I can remember this, which typically when I say something like that is the biggest lie ever, but we're holding me to this. Anywho, let's have some breakfast. You know those moments when you realize you're an adult because you're getting really excited about things that are probably not that exciting? I got a pill organizer. I'm so pumped. I thought it was going to be black, so it being in rainbow is a surprise, but not necessarily a sad surprise. I do enjoy a rainbow. It being a Sunday start is a little bit fun. Personally, I prefer a Monday start, but at least if it is a Sunday start, then it will remind me to do the pill filling on a Sunday, because I'll like work through for each week or something like that. So I'm making my peace with it. I don't know if you could attach the Sunday to the bottom or something like that, but then I think the rainbow would be a little thrown off. Don't like the idea of starting the week on an orange. But according to the back, it is easy to use. So hopefully it actually is easy to use. Otherwise I'll feel light too. But this was actually part of my parcel that I ordered from Chemist Warehouse so that then I could get my skincare products. I like my CeraVe face wash, so I'm like, okay, I'll try some of their other ones. We have morning serum with vitamin C and evening serum with retinol. I have heard that retinol can irritate skin, so I'm going to be careful with using that. I don't want to injure myself. Sometimes they say like you should layer it with a moisturizer first and then put the retinol cream on type of thing. So there's like a bit of a barrier, or some people have kind of diluted it by mixing it into their moisturizer before putting it on their face. And as somebody who does have skin sensitivities, I might try one of those two techniques. It is also a product that I'm not supposed to use every day, so if I do start using this soon, I need to keep better track of when I have or haven't used it. So I might need to set up a tracker for that. That's a future me problem. I still need to eat my breakfast. But I'm so excited about my pill container. So as it turns out, there is a larger shell which you can then open and have the separate individual packets. So yes, I could definitely put Sunday down the bottom. Still think that'd be a little weird, but each of them has a little descriptor of like, hey, here are your morning pills, noon, evening, and bedtime pills or whatnot. I only take medications, or like oral medications, twice a day. So once at the start, once at the end. So I actually think I could use this for like morning, night for 2 full weeks, which would be pretty sweet. That means that I would have to fill it up once a fortnight or once, every 2 weeks rather than every single week, which would be pretty cool. The main reason for getting this rather than just getting them out of my containers as I have been is that I'm just getting really sick of having to open 3 different containers every morning and 2 different containers every night. It's just a small thing, but it is becoming increasingly irritating. And if I get to a point where I need to take more supplements or more medications or anything like that, then it's just like compounding the problem. Whereas I could just open all those containers once, put them all into these little ones, and then on a daily basis, every morning, just pop one of them open, there we go, that's all your stuff. In the evening, pop one of them open, there you go, that's all your stuff. So for me, it's less about the visual reminder of like, hey, these are the ones you need to take at different times of the day, and more so just the ease of actually getting them ready for myself. But given the fact that I did almost forget to take them this morning, I got to my desk and started eating my oats. I'm like, oh, where are my pills? Maybe it is a good thing that I just got these. Typically speaking, my prompt for taking my medication is eating. So like with my first bite of food in the morning, that is kind of like my prompt to myself to say, hey, medication time. Similar idea with dinner. For my first bite of food when I'm having dinner, that's like, oop, medication time. But that's also because all my medications can be taken with food. I may or may not have gotten distracted by putting all of my pills into the little pill containers. And I also organized all the information we need for our bank meeting this afternoon, so that's good. Technically, that was a yesterday task for me, but it got done before the meeting, and that's what counts. For now, it's 9:35 and I really need to go have a shower and get ready for the day. The business bun is in session, which means it is time to get to work. On the cards for today, work-wise, planning videos. We need to plan this Saturday's video, this week's live stream, the podcast episode we're recording tomorrow, next week's cyclic plan with me, the extra video for the team with the capital T that's coming out next week, and an additional video that I think I might do for the Goobers Who Read channel. So what's that, 6 videos to plan, and I will get these done today. I know that I often bite off more than I can chew when it comes to writing things down on my task list, and then I get to the end of the day like, oh, I didn't get as much done as I thought I would. But I'm really aiming today to not let myself get distracted. If I find myself getting distracted, just switch to planning a different video so that then I can keep things moving forward rather than just like falling into a Reels hole or getting distracted by a side quest or whatever. Oftentimes the side quests that I take myself on for distraction, they usually start productive. It's usually something that I'm like, ooh, I need to do that, as opposed to, oh, let's just like go check out Instagram. But then because I haven't necessarily intended to be doing that thing, I go in kind of with a half-baked plan of what it is I'm supposed to achieve and then get distracted. This time, no distractions. We're getting it done. It's currently 10:18. Let's see how long this takes. Well, I have gotten the majority of one plan made, but now is time for our evaluation meeting. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully it goes quickly, because I want to keep doing this. I am making good progress though, so I am pleased with that. So we had our meeting with the property valuation team. How do you think it went?
Pretty good. Jess only kicked me once.
Yeah, he started just going off on a tangent and I'm like, no, shut the fuck up. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this. Like, we got a mission. Things are mission critical right now.
It's fair. I do only have a short lunch break now, so.
Exactly, because of his fault. But at the same time, a half hour is plenty of time for a lunch break and you'll be fine. But I'm feeling good about it. I like the document they gave us. I mean, regardless of who we go with, they're going to give us a document like that anyways, just kind of outlining their process and like how it works and where they see the kind of property leaning towards on the market and all of that kind of thing. And there were graphs. I love graphs.
Graphs are dope.
I've had my lunch now though, and I'm back at my desk, got my candle lit, ready to do some more work. It's currently 1:23, so decent amount of planning that needs to be done before I go for midweek Mafia hangout. I think that the strategy I'm going to employ now is just tackling the ones that I know aren't going to take very long, so at least I can build some momentum and like check those off my list, and then move on to the ones that probably are going to take me a little longer. Well, I'm currently in the process of planning the financial health personal curriculum video, which is honestly a very wordy title and I think it could use a reword. That is not a right now problem though, because the person from the bank is almost here. They're supposed to come over at 3:30. It's currently 3:27. I have the information ready for them, and hopefully this meeting goes quickly because I have made good progress on my video planning. I just have obviously the one I'm currently working on that I still need to do, and 2 others that I had hoped to plan a little bit more fully. But provided the meeting goes smoothly, then I should still have time afterwards to do just a little bit more video planning. All in all though, I am very pleased with how much I've been able to do, considering I feel like with the meetings we've had today and then Claire getting cleaned and just whatever else, I felt very interrupted. So imagine how much I could have gotten done if I wasn't being interrupted by meetings. I scheduled the meetings. This is like my fault. Also, I have officially finished this candle because despite the fact there is still wax in it and I would love to continue burning it down, it's gotten to the point where it just smokes more than it actually releases a nice amount of scent. In theory, according to the internet, you're not supposed to burn candles in jars all the way down because you run the risk of the glass cracking from getting too overheated or whatnot, which makes sense, but also makes me sad that I can't use the dregs of my candle. This is the first candle that I've actually used to completion though, so that feels pretty good. And my room smells nice. I mean, currently it smells like Rose Crush, but still. Meeting with the bank is done, went well, feeling good, sent off the information that they need. We're gonna hear back from them tomorrow or Thursday. Maybe both. I think technically we will preliminarily hear back from them tomorrow and then a further conversation on Thursday. The ball is rolling though. How exciting is that? Now I need to do a little teeny tiny more planning before heading off to Midweek Mafia Hangout, because this week it's on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. For the Midweek Mafia Hangout this week, I'm taking my pencil case with my supplies, my journal, the tape that I'm thinking about using for March, my laptop, which I actually need to go get, and my little bag of laptop stuff. For the most part, I'm aiming to do just journal work and hanging out and chilling and whatnot, but I also need to start thinking about the goal or project of planning for our Christchurch trip, because that one is fast approaching. I say fast approaching, it's happening in week 11. It's currently week 7, but like come tomorrow, the quarter will be half over, which is slightly alarming. I'm like, oh my gosh, have I actually made halfway progress with everything? Maybe I haven't counted. And I'm not going to, because I feel like that would either just send me into a panic or make me be too relaxed with things. Really depends on where I'd be sitting for each of the goals. But I figure getting the planning sorted for our trip sooner rather than later would be a good idea. A very pleasant time with friends, and I kept my promise to myself. I only got the 6-inch and I felt mostly satiated, so all good. You know, just following that idea of every action you take is a vote towards the person you want to become. I will be the person who doesn't upsize when I don't need to upsize. Like if I'm super famished, yeah sure, let's get the upsize. But most of the time, you don't need it. I don't need it. What I do need though is to go to sleep. Good night. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I think it's Thursday. My entire week is thrown off because the Midweek Mafia Hangout wasn't even midweek. It's fine. We will survive. But most excitingly, today was the first official weigh-in for 2026 that was under 90 kilos. And then we came in at 89.7. I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, 0.7, is that better than yesterday? And then I noticed it said 89. I'm like, yes, that is better than yesterday. I know rah daily weight fluctuations and whatnot and such, so I really wait until the end of the week to kind of record how things went, especially because I do typically find that the work of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Jess, is kind of in part outdone by Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Jess most weeks. We will see if that is the case this week. But today we are filming, mostly. That is the kind of main work task that I'm going to be focusing on. But in order to get to that, need to do all the stuff that we typically do in the morning. Walking, breakfast, shower, get ready for the day. Feeling clean, feeling fresh, feeling ready to film. This morning while I was having my breakfast, I also got the early bird announcement for tickets to the CreatorCon day that actually has, like, you know, the main keynote speakers and the international people who are coming to present and that kind of stuff. So I have booked my ticket for that. And then because I was a little worried about spaces selling up in terms of accommodation and whatnot, I also booked the flights and the accommodation for that. I'm like, this is a very expensive morning. You know, typically I don't do this much travel. And I feel like I'm really going to enjoy coming back after the UK and just having a long period of time of no travel. Because building routines and habits and stuff is made more difficult when you're not in your regular set space. That's not to say that I'm not looking forward to my trips. I'm just conscious of the fact that travel is not necessarily a very restorative action. It's a fun action, but not a restorative one. And I don't want to get myself like super exhausted and such and then not feel like doing other goal actions to move myself forward. But anyway, time to prepare this space for filming. It is now lunchtime. Filming has been going pretty okay. We filmed the podcast. I did the intro outro for the vlog. I filmed Saturday's video and very lightly started editing it, but I do have 3 other videos that I wanted to film today. Might be unrealistic. We're gonna go have lunch. We're gonna make it a quick one because I would like to get on to more filming. Because the more I can film today, the less likely it is that I have to do my hair and film tomorrow. Completely unrelated to having lunch. Okay, it's not, but we'll get to that. When was the last time you told yourself that you were proud of yourself? Like you kind of stopped and took a moment and said, you know what? I'm proud of you. Because I just told myself I was proud of myself for eating my lunch. Mainly because when I got downstairs to prepare my lunch, I'm like, oh, I just don't feel like cooking it. I could be bothered. I cut a cucumber, like, maybe I could just have some berries and yogurt or something like that. And then I discovered that yesterday Jess had actually pre-sliced my cucumber for me. I completely forgot that I did that. Because after slicing my cucumber yesterday, I had quite a lot and I'm like, I don't need all of this today. I'll leave some for tomorrow. So it did definitely make the process easier, but I'm still proud of me for eating the food that I said I was gonna eat and making good choices, and now I feel satiated and I can continue on with my filming. But no, question for you. When was the last time you told yourself you were proud of yourself? Because you don't have to do something earth-shatteringly, amazingly out there to tell yourself you're proud of yourself. You can be proud of yourself for eating the food that you prepared for yourself, even if you really just want to have hot chips. That's something to be proud of. Anyway, back to filming. I am now sitting here in the dark because it's bright out there and I've been in the dark all day and I just feel like I should continue on with the same trajectory. But I have filmed the Arch and Olive March sub-box unboxing. Yay. I have filmed my exclusive video next week about the personal curriculum. We obviously already filmed the podcast. I filmed the vlog intro outro, so that one's done. And I filmed the Saturday video. Like some of those I've already told you about, but that's 5 things filmed today, so I'm feeling pretty good. I did technically also want to film my March plan with me, but I haven't actually planned my March plan with me. So in terms of not moving on to editing because my brain's not in it, I think I'm just going to do a want analysis on how my setup from this cycle is going so I can plan next cycle setup and possibly film that tomorrow, but probably more likely than not film it next week. I've also gotten myself into this headspace of thinking that tomorrow is my only day of work. Like, oh god, there's no days of work left in this week because last week I didn't have Friday to work. This week I do have Friday to work. I need to stop panicking. You've got Thursday, you've got Friday. I might have some of Sunday. I can't remember what's on my calendar, honestly. You have some of Sunday. Everything is good. I think it's just because I didn't do a very good job of going in at the start of the week and actually updating my calendar. I did a good job populating my journal. It's just updating my calendar didn't happen. So now I'm feeling a little bit because of it, to the extent where I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to go update my calendar and then I'm going to do the want analysis. Written down some general thoughts for myself. It's not quite finished, but at least it's a start and I can use that information to plan out what my cycle 3 pages will be. For now though, it's time to start thinking about getting ready to go. The social event number 3 of the week. Too many. Well, it was a very enjoyable evening out with Mum and her friend Caroline, and I so well fed. I was doing so well at not overeating, and then we got to the last plate of food and just overdid it, just by enough. It was like tipped me over, and now I'm just like, cool, time for a food coma. But I got my 8,000 steps, I got my 2 liters of water, calorie deficit, technically I don't know, but I think it might be over. But it's okay, because tomorrow we're having a home-cooked meal for dinner, and a home-cooked meal for lunch and breakfast, so actually being able to calculate whether I'm in my calorie deficit will be a lot easier. Tomorrow is going to be a very much editing-heavy day, which I am super excited for. It's going to happen regardless of whether I'm excited or going to get things done. And to get things done, I need to be well-rested, so it's time to go to bed. Good night. Good morning. Happy Thursday. I need to get out of bed. I'm procrastinating doing that. Feeling a little tired, even though I got to bed at a reasonable time. Anyways, time to go exercise. I do find that if I ever don't feel like doing something and I tell you I don't feel like doing it, then I'm like, okay, let's go do it now. So that's gonna be my hack. Just a shorter walk today because I'm still feeling quite full from dinner last night. That being said, I still want to have breakfast because if I don't, I'll get to after my live stream and probably be kind of ravenous. Today we have more overnight oats, this time apple pie flavored. Yesterday was the pineapple and the peach and mango compote one. Very tasty. It's nice to have some variety. That's a good thing about having a whole bunch of fruit in the freezer. So I can just pull out whichever fruit I want and then make a different flavor overnight oats and keep it fresh. Looking good and ready to stream. We're going to be setting up my cycle and review page because it's looking a little barren right now. Boom, that one is set up. Got my space for my progress and things that I have not progressed and all the other little sections. Looking forward to filling it in. But that is a task for end of cycle me. Current me needs to do some video editing. The editing is going well, but I just had a call from the bank. Everything got approved. He's going to send us an email. Ah, excellent. Now we can start snooping around for potential houses. But not right now. I can't get too ahead of myself. I need to do my editing first. Actually, I think that means that I can almost check that goal off. I'm like too excited. I'm like, get out of the way, water bottle. I need to look at my goal planner. All right, according to the new home goal that I had for this quarter, it was schedule the meeting with Vogel, book the meeting, organize info needed for the meeting, meet with the bank, and then update search parameters based on the meeting. Given that we have now gotten the kind of like approval from them for a certain amount or whatnot, it means that we can update those search parameters, which means that then I think this one is almost done. I just need to actually update the search parameters and then it's done. Or at least this part of it for this quarter, because I wasn't really planning on actively starting new space hunting right now, but might not be a bad idea to start doing that this quarter. But as I said, not right now. I need to do my editing. Editing is going well, but I have neglected having lunch. It's now 2:15. And usually I try and have lunch at about 1 o'clock. It's all good. We're going and having lunch now. Everything will be fine. I think it also didn't help that at 1 o'clock I just was not hungry, and now I definitely am. So far though, I have gotten Saturday's video edited. I've done the pre-editing for an upcoming podcast episode. I have finished going through the podcast episode that isn't the one for next week, but the fortnight after that. So I'm definitely checking things off the list, but I still feel like there's a lot to do. Probably because there is. I also am now just starting to wonder if I defrosted anything for lunch. It's okay, I did. Whew. Because I'm just like, I do not remember getting any chicken patties out of the freezer. It's all okay. Something I'd also like to start getting better at is putting the dishes away, like maybe on my lunch break or at the start of the day. Mainly because Vogel is the one who washes them and he is also typically the one who puts them away. But like, come on, Jess, you can do something to help around here, can't you? That's not to say that I do nothing to help around the house, but I feel like I could do this to help. See, that wasn't so bad. Dishes are put away, my cucumber has been sliced, and my chicken patty is cooking. Progress is being made in the sense that we are now exporting the personal curriculum video. Huzzah! Only problem is that it's almost 7 o'clock. And while technically dinner hadn't been made yet, I don't feel great about working quite that late, so I think that's going to be a wah-wah in terms of the routine tracker. But Vogel is home now. We are having oven food for dinner because we just wanted something super chill. And then we have date night. Date night this time around is just going to be kind of enjoying each other's company rather than going out and doing anything specific. Maybe some gaming time if we get onto it. But really it'll just be spending time together. As part of our very fun date night plans, we have gone through and written an official, like, I want to say like a wish list. A list of things we're looking for when we're going on our kind of like house hunting journey. We've written them down in terms of the non-negotiables and the it would be nice to have, but we can be flexible. Jess and flexible in one sentence. Not usually something we find. But that means that I have, I think, officially updated the search parameters based on the meeting with the bank and our house preferences and stuff. So that's one goal checked off for Q1. Yay! For now though, given the fact that we're going to be hanging out with friends tomorrow night, we're going to do what we would usually do on a Friday night tonight, which is essentially just meal planning for the week ahead. Meal planning officially done. Next week for my meal prep, I'm going to be doing bruschetta because it is easy, and stone fruits with yogurt and granola because it is easy. I think ahead of time I'm going to have to determine whether I need to make more granola or if I have sufficient granola to just eat what I have left. I think I might need to make more. We'll have to see. But the choices have been made and I'm feeling positive about that. But in terms of the goal of meet with the bank to arrange a home line, that one has a check mark because it's been done now. Yay! I think that means I now have officially got 2 goals for the quarter done out of like 11 plus because I added some more. I don't actually know what my updated number is. And I did actually make very decent progress in making my personal curriculum today for the financial literacy goal. You can see it here, that one says make a personal curriculum as tied to this week. It wasn't necessarily initially on there, but I thought it'd be a nice way to tackle this goal of just learning more about finances and topics about finances that I have a limited understanding in. My personal curriculum, I feel, needs a little bit more work. It's kind of in a decent draft phase at the moment. I'll probably do a little more work on it either tomorrow or on Sunday, but it is technically formed. Like, it technically exists, it has all of its sections. I just want to make sure I run my eyes over it again and see if there's anything I can tweak or change to make it feel a little more polished. But I need to keep reminding myself that it does not have to be perfect. It does not need to be the final form, because more likely than not, as I actually get started with learning more about finances, I will learn more about what I need to learn about finances, and thus will be able to include that in the personal curriculum. So it's all good if it's not perfect. Right now it's like 80% of the way towards where I want it to be. 85. Good morning, happy Friday. I have thus far posted the poll for the book club read from March, so that one is being voted on now. I've gotten up, I've gotten dressed, now it's time to go do some exercise. Yesterday I definitely did not hit 8,000 steps. I took a shorter walk in the morning because I was just feeling a little about getting work done, and then I never got back onto the walking pad in the evening to do any additional steps, so I'm gonna aim to do a bit more today. I kind of would like to get to the point where I'm taking myself outside for walks again, because I do think it's nice to get some fresh air. I'm not gonna do that today, it's looking a little dark, at least from this angle, but something to think about for the future. Actually, given I have my friends coming over tonight, I should probably get on the walking pad for a little bit longer than I was initially anticipating to do, because when they come over, I'm not gonna get on the walking pad while we're watching stuff, and I'm not gonna get on after they leave. So, should probably try and make most of the way to my 8,000 steps this morning. The walk went well, breakfast was delicious and is now gone. Today was the tropical overnight oats, very tasty, but I do need to make sure that I prepare overnight oats for the next 2 days, otherwise I will have no breakfast and I will be sad. You and I will rendezvous at lunchtime for a nose. But because I had a kind of slow start this morning, I'm thinking I might just get into work now rather than go and have a shower. Might just do at least one work block, maybe two, then get kind of fresh and clean and more ready for the day. And I'm definitely glad I did not walk outside because it is raining now. On the cards for work today though is mostly the newsletter writing, also finishing the uploads that I didn't quite finish off yesterday, like thumbnailing and stuff like that. And then something else. Technically speaking, Friday is the day that I want to be doing some goal work, like personal goal work. So I might also have to look over my tasks for the week and see what I could get done in that space. But first I need to write this newsletter, because I know that it is definitely a task that if I give it all the time that it needs, it will take all of my time. I'm gonna try and time restrict it a little bit, maybe try and get it done in like an hour, 2 hours. It's 9:22, so let's see how long it actually takes. Yay, that one is scheduled and ready to go, and it is 10:45. What I had done for myself is that when during the week I had a thought of like, oh, maybe that would make for a good topic, I wrote myself down a couple of brief notes to get my kind of thinking started and organize my thoughts on that topic. Definitely useful. We'll be employing that strategy moving forward. And then I was like, sweet, yeah, let's move on to the next task. And then I reminded myself, you haven't had a shower. You should probably go get clean. You've got one win under your belt, notch on the belt. I don't know. I've got a win, and now I'm gonna go get another one by having a shower. Feeling fresh, feeling clean. I put in a leave-in moisturizer. What's the thing? Conditioner. That's the one. Hair moisturizer. So I'll see how I like it. I'm apprehensive, but we'll see. I need to upload those videos, and then that's another thing I can check off my list for the day. I'm feeling productive. Things are mostly going well. Did the thumbnailings, did the uploadings, yada yada. The podcast episode is giving me grief. It will not upload to Spotify. It does this every so often, and I'm not for it, honestly. It ends up wasting a lot of my time, which I definitely don't love, but I think it's time to probably take a break as I'm getting increasingly frustrated at it, and it's 1:23, so like definitely time for lunch. Yeah, but like, are you though? Are you doing that? Spotify, you're drunk. What kind of time is that? Just call it 40 minutes. I also feel like I spent a lot of time in last week's vlog talking about the presentations day and getting ready for that and all of that. And then of course, due to sickness, it didn't actually happen. But presentations day is happening tomorrow. I am quite excited for it, but now, because I made my slides last week, I feel like I'm not well practiced for my slides. So I feel like I should probably book in to run over them at least tomorrow morning. I was gonna say today, but I also have other goal work that I want to do, so we'll see. And given the fact that we have our friends coming over this evening, there's not really a lot of time this evening to practice. But in terms of lunch, it is the final day of chicken patties, because I only made 6 and I ate one of them on Sunday and then 5 for the rest of the days of the week, or the week days, the work week days. So yes, final one. And then tomorrow, I think we're gonna go back to bruschetta because it's easy and I don't need as many meals for lunches next week because I'm away for 2.5 days. Lunch is looking good. And most of the dishes have been put away, not quite all of them. But I did make my overnight oats for the next couple days. And I still need to fill up my water bottle. Also decided to make some berries and yogurt as a snack because I had just a very small amount of yogurt left and some leftover blueberries. Yummy! Lunch over though, so we are back in the office and now I just need to figure out what I want to do next. I think it would be good to get some more goal actions done, but I'm also just feeling a little bit scatterbrained. And I think in part it's because my desk is a little untidy. It's not majorly untidy, but it's untidy enough that things are distracting me. So I'm going to tidy that up first and then figure out what I'm going to do next. What I did find during my tidy up was a little offcut from when I made a Dutch door, and I think I'm going to use this to make a kind of summary or reference of the routines I'm trying to build around skincare, mainly because when I get into my bathroom every, morning and evening or whatnot, I have a tendency to forget steps, whereas if I write it down, that might be more helpful. What I'm also kind of thinking is that I number them and then make little number stickers and stick the number stickers on the products so I can see, if picking up a product, I'll be like, oh, this is number 3. I need to do 2 and 1 first. I have my little reference card. I'm gonna go put that in the bathroom, but I also got these sticker labels out, which are just, like hi my name is without the hi my name is. And I thought I might cut them into quarters because they don't need to be that big, and then stick numbers on the products. I think that would be a good way to tie what's on my tiny list to the actual physical pieces themselves. And in fact, I think for the ones that I don't need to use them every single day, it might be good to specify on them how often to use them, because a lot of these things don't have the directions on the packaging. They have it on the box that the thing came in, but not the thing itself. Or if they do have instructions on there, it's very much framed around the idea of, hey, use this up as fast as possible so you can buy another one, which is not what I want to do. I want to use it the right number of times. There we go. Now I just need to cut them up and stick them on. Ta-da! Now it's got a little number. It'll be a lot easier to remember when I need to do it. Now a whole bunch of my stuff has little numbers staring at me. But that is another one that I can check off my checklist. And I'm kind of thinking that technically this goal might be most of the way done, because as it was worded, it was develop an easy but effective skincare routine. Now at this stage, I don't necessarily know if it's effective, because I feel like you have to give it some time to really see any payoff. But so far I have found it fairly straightforward to keep up with. That's probably in part because I'm being carried through by personal enthusiasm, but I do think that with all the little number stickers on there now, it'll be easier to keep track of which pieces I need to do and in what order and whatnot. I do think I might go in and add an additional little symbol or something to the labels, just because, given that I have the morning and the evening and there are some components that are different, it might be nice to have a little sun or a little moon, depending on if it's morning or evening, or maybe I could just do colors like yellow for the morning and blue for the evening or something, so that at a glance I can kind of say okay, yeah, this product is one of my morning products, let's get all those out of the drawer and deal with those. I mean, not all of them are in the drawer, one of them's on the bench because it's actually too big to fit in the drawer, and also having it on the bench helps to remind me to do the thing because that's one of the steps that I'm most at risk of forgetting. But I'm not going to check that one off as fully complete just yet because I feel like I want to give it a bit more time to really practice it and see if I still like it. If by the end of the quarter I'm finding that I am keeping up with it and it has paid off in some way, like my skin just feels nicer or whatnot, then I will give myself a check mark to say, yeah, that one got done. But having all the research done and having my little reference sheet and everything feels really good. One thing I know I'm definitely at risk of not doing this week if I don't do it soon is updating my channel description and writing my personal content alignment statement. So I think I will move on to those ones. I've done most of the groundwork for this, so it really shouldn't take that long. famous last words, but I do keep putting it off because it feels scary. Mainly because there's a lot of like, oh, is this the right choice? Or, you know, is this gonna be right for the channel or whatever kind of thinking? And that just leads me to paralysis. But I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to change things over. Well, it only took me 50 minutes, but I wrote my new blurb. I'm feeling good about it though. I now need to write my personal statement, which is, I think what I'm going to do with that is rather than just make it a statement, I might make it a series of questions to ask myself for when it comes to like new video planning or content planning or whatever, so I can kind of run through this checklist of considerations so I can make sure that it aligns with what I want for the channel. Because every so often I get a kind of craving to do a video of a particular type or nature or whatever, and I'm like, that's not aligned. That's not relevant. We don't need to be doing that. But that is another thing I can check off the list. There we go. I've written myself some guiding questions and organized them into these key areas of alignment and audience, humane productivity, usefulness, and energy and sustainability. So essentially, like, does this actually help you? Does this lead the right people towards our community? You know, I don't want to make things just because they're going to get views. I want to actually have people here who are part of the team, you know? In terms of humane productivity, it's essentially about getting things done, but with that mindset of like, you don't have to be a perfect person to get things done. You don't have to be a perfect person to take action on your goals. Very much building that idea of self-trust and self-compassion. In terms of usefulness, we have a bunch of points about that because I always want my content to be helpful. And then in terms of energy and sustainability, this is more so for me. So it's like, am I actually enthusiastic about this topic? Does the content energize me? Do I feel like I can do an honest job of this? And would I still want it on the channel in 6 months? Because I don't want to put effort in to make a video that isn't gonna have longevity. Or like if somebody watched it in 6 months, it would be completely obsolete. I'm kind of thinking even with things that do have a shorter shelf life, there can still be tangible and helpful things that I put into that content that is still going to be assistive when people watch it back in the future. So kind of keeping that in mind as I'm doing my content planning. But that is another thing to check off the list. I still have a little bit of time before my friends get here, so I think I'm going to continue working on my personal curriculum just to kind of neaten it up and consider my assessment tasks in particular and how I'm going to be able to accurately say whether I have or haven't achieved a certain learning objective. And I should also probably take the opportunity to start collating some resources as well, because I've gotten a couple of book recommendations and I need to write them down somewhere. And I've also started seeing things pop up on my YouTube feed, so I'm like, oh, I should probably actually save those, like collate them into a playlist for myself. It means that when future Jess goes to do her learning, she has the resources to pull from already. There we go, I've updated my materials list. So I've got my financial literacy playlist that I'm making, 2 books, some Instagram accounts that I started following, and a couple websites. And I think that's probably a good start because I don't want to overwhelm myself with like, oh, hey, here's like, you know, all of the materials that you need to consume in order to learn this stuff. It'd be good to go through those and then see which of my learning objectives have actually been touched on. So finding resources for learning, done. Still need to update the assessment section of my personal curriculum. Well, I've gone and made some updates to that. It's currently 5:21 and I'm feeling like it's good enough. And I just need to keep reminding myself it does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to actually take action, and it definitely is at that stage. So I've got all of the topics I want to learn. I've got my learning objectives, or like the learning outcomes I want from taking on this personal curriculum. Listed out my materials, got a very, very loose timeline of how I want to tackle it. My assessment pieces, reflection stuff set up, I'm feeling good. And that actually means in terms of tasks for this week, I only have 4 more that I need to check off, which I'm kind of surprised with because that's typically not how these weeks usually turn out. Usually there's at least, you know, half a list left by this point, and especially given it has been a busy week, I think I'm doing pretty well. Meal prepping is going to happen on Sunday mainly. Having a day off is mainly going to happen tomorrow. Prepping for leisure week has technically happened throughout the week, though I'm going to do a little bit more on that on Sunday, I think. And then formalizing our invoicing system, that one I'm waiting to hear back from my operations assistant before I actually action that one, but I think I should be able to get it done by the end of the week. Yay! Time to get the lounge room looking a little bit more guest ready. It's not that far gone, but there's some work to be done. I did at least light my candle, so that's something.
There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Just a little bit tidier.
But in terms of steps, I'm only on 6,800, so I'm gonna do some laps until my friends get here. Well, I got my 8,000 steps, and then friends came over, we ordered some food, watched some Critical Role. I also made myself a vision board, which was actually the first time I've made a vision board. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think it looks pretty cute. I'm probably gonna set it as my desktop background, at least on my laptop. Probably not my desktop computer because I like my background on that one. Maybe I'll get a print off of it for my office or something like that. But for now it is 11:37. Now I'd like to be well rested for presentations day, so I think it's time to go to bed. Good night. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Valentine's Day. I've given Vogel his gift. He seems quite pleased. I have received my gift. I am quite pleased. Everybody's pleased. Except for the fact that I do need to get out of bed. I'm not so pleased about that. But the walk will do me well, and I know that the body will be like, yes, movement. But I just have to get the mind to be on board. Outside of walking though, on the cards for today is presentations day. That doesn't start until like 3 p.m. though. And today is supposed to be a day off. So no working. Just need to figure out what else I'm gonna do instead. The first thought was like, maybe some work. No. Come on, let's go for a walk.
I'm excited, and we're gonna get into it, that they're trying to sell you solutions for.
And I like making them make the noises.
The noises. Are you enjoying your dives?
Yeah.
Which one's your favorite?
I really like my liquid core ones.
Yeah, the koi.
They're very cool. That's not to say I don't like my dragons, but I really wanted liquid core set bubblegummy koi fish.
The walk went very well. I got very sweaty because I went for longer than usual, just as I know I'm going to be going to my friend's house this afternoon, so I probably won't get a lot of steps in the later afternoon and evening. Currently sitting on a step count of 5,200. Not too bad. Should be able to make it to 8k before we actually get to her place. And had my overnight oats, which now is sadly gone, but very tasty. Of course it is Saturday, so I need to start with my Saturday ritual of doing exercise, eating my breakfast, and then watching Sarah Cannon's live stream because I enjoy it. But it also is a good opportunity to get into my journal and actually plan out how I want next cycle to look, because I'm thinking I want to make some changes. Despite my best intentions, I made essentially no progress with getting cycle 3's planning sorted. Mainly because I started having beef with my printer. Printers are like, I don't want to say it too loud because it's probably listening to me. Printers are the worst. They are like the worst piece of technology because they never work. Like if somebody made a printer where you just turned it on and it was like, ooh, Wi-Fi network, do you want to connect? And I go, yes. And then maybe, I don't know, gives me a confirmation on my phone or something. Like, I don't know, if it could just connect and then just work. That'd be great. But no, that's not what my printer is doing right now. That being said, it is a good printer. I like the kind of print quality that I get from it, but for right now it's just disconnected itself from the Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi router, that's another problem. And it is a problem that future me will solve, because right now me is just like, blah, the live stream's over and I just want to go have a shower. Feeling clean, feeling fresh, and having the numbers on my skincare products certainly helped this morning. Just like, hey, okay, let's get all of the numbers 1 through 5 out, let's do all the things in order. Easy. For now though, I am going to plan my cycle 3 setup because it would be really good to have that sorted in terms of what I need to do for it before next week, if possible. I'm not saying I can't change my mind later if I want to add extra things in, but because next week is supposed to be a lighter week in terms of work, and one of the things I do for work is film my cyclic setups, it would be nice to be able to go into that with already, you know, having a semblance of a plan of what I'm doing. And before you say anything, no, I do not consider the pre-planning of my cyclic setup to be work, at least in terms of the layouts and pages, because that's more so just for my own personal functional productivity and such. It's like a gray area, but anyway. I set myself up a little playlist of videos to watch while I was doing journaling, so I'm like, yeah, might as well watch some journal videos. It has been a hot minute since I've watched any journaling videos that aren't just errands. I watch like all of Erin's videos. But we have a list now of the things that I'm going to set up in my cycle 3 pages. I just need to go and plan what they are going to be structured like, so I have a map to follow when I come to do the setup. I'm feeling mostly good about my plan so far. I've just gone and mapped out what I want to put where. I haven't done all of the spreads just yet, but the main one that I haven't done is a weekly dashboard, which I'm probably just going to continue with the same format because it is working currently. It might get to a point where I do need to change it because I just get bored, but for right now, don't really want to change anything if it's not working. It's that idea of like, if If it's not broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There we go. That's essentially me versus my weekly log. For now though, I do definitely need to think about having some lunch because it is almost 2 o'clock and we're gonna leave in about 45 minutes. Getting started early on my bruschetta for next week because I ran out of those chicken patties, which is all good. I still like bruschetta, it's cool. But now it is officially time to go over to Rachel's for presentations day. I'm really excited to see what everybody's presentations are actually about. I think I know the topics of all of them, but it's, you know, different when you actually get to experience it with your friends. It should be a lot of fun.
Are you looking forward to presentations day?
Yes. I was
Yeah?
practicing in the shower.
That's good.
It's probably why we're a little late, because I lost track of time a little.
Uh-oh.
I think I was checking my phone when you knocked on the door and said, hey, it's 1:45. And I was like, yeah, I know, because I just checked my phone what the time was.
Well, best be off.
Yeah.
Well, it was an absolutely excellent presentations day. Everybody did such a good job and it was just fun learning about the different topics and such. I'm pretty sure I learned at least like one key thing from every presentation, including my own, which is to always check your slides before you present them. Rachel said she had checked them before I got there, but there was like something was funky with the sound or whatnot, so that was a bit unfortunate, but it was still a really good time. For now though, it is 10 something, 10:47. Time to go to sleep, especially cause tomorrow we might be going to some open homes, which should be an exciting time. I don't think we're actually going to go and see anything that's going to be like, oh yeah, let's put an offer in on that, but it's still good to get the process started, you know, and ease ourselves into it. Anywho, good night. Good morning. Happy Sunday. We were going to go for a walk outside today, but we're thinking it might just be a little bit too windy for that to be a pleasant decision. So instead, Vogel's in the shower. I'm going to get on the walking pad, keeping the streak alive. And we were going to go and do some looking at houses today, but we decided to have a really thorough look at our watch list and decided that none of them were actually worth going and having a look at. So yay, more time today to do other things. In particular, need to meal prep, need to do a little bit of work so that I feel more prepared, more cool, calm and collected for supposed leisure week, and also probably some other stuff. Walk done, breakfast done, and I'm actually thinking this might be one of the first weeks that I get all of my actions on my priorities list completed. I just need to make sure that I don't forget any of them and, you know, like leave it too late in the day or something. So shower, then doing actions, or at least something. Feeling fresh, feeling clean, feeling mostly ready to tackle the day. I don't actually feel like I have a good grasp on what needs to get done. So first port of call, writing a list. Always a good place to start. There we go, I actually have a list for the day now, so I think I'm gonna get started with the March filming, mainly because I'm just most excited about that one right now. It'll feel good to have things set up in here. And then the rest of them in a bit. That one is looking good, all set up now, so I can go do something else. In particular, my something else is going to be meal prep and lunch because it is 3 p.m. I need to eat. In terms of meal prep for next week, I'm making granola to go on top of my yogurt and fruit. And I don't need to do any meal prep, I think, for lunches. So that's pretty sweet. I'm actually thinking that next week, when it comes to meal prepping for the week after, I should probably also find something that doesn't take very long or doesn't require a lot of prep, because I'm not going to be here for most of the weekend, which means I don't really want to have to, you know, come home from my reading retreat and then do a whole bunch of meal prep and kind of undo the cup filling activity of having the reading retreat. That is next week's problem though. Right now, food. I figured I'd get my granola on first, but one of the things I need to put in here is almond butter, which is notoriously thick and doesn't come very nicely out of my little cup measure. So I thought I'd make a well using my cup measure. So I kind of imprint it into, I was going to say the sand. This is not sand. This is my granola ingredients. But imprint it in there and then just fill up the hole rather than filling up the cup. Because in theory, then I'll get the same measurement, but I won't have to try and get it out of the cup measure. I think I might have to wet it first, so then it's a little bit tacky or sticky already, so that then it doesn't kind of cave in on itself. All right, back to the drawing board. There we go. I added another one of my wet ingredients and kind of gave it a bit of a mix. And now, if we pull this out, excellent. It might be kind of hard to see, but there is a little hole there. So now I can take my nut butter out and put that in the hole. Into the hole. Into the hole. We will need some more. I figured it also saves Vogel on having to clean up the excess nut butter. I think that hole plus what's on the spoon is probably sufficient. Yay! I ended up just wrapping up my meal prep while I was having my lunch, which means I'm back at the desk now. The meal prep is done, and I think I actually only have one other priority action to do for the entire week, because I do think that my prep for leisure week, I've kind of done most of what I can towards it. I might still do a little bit more, but I have prepped for leisure week. The other one though is formalizing the invoicing system for the administrative assistant, operations assistant. I need to like hammer that term into my head. That is the role title, but that shouldn't take very long, so I'm just gonna do that now.
Vogel has made us baked potatoes for dinner. Thank you, Vogel. This looks great.
You're welcome.
The baked potatoes were really tasty, and this afternoon I finished off that invoicing system. I finished making the unboxing video for Archer and Olive, so that one is ready to send off to them. And that means that I have officially finished all of the priorities on my actions list, which I'm pretty sure that is the first time that has ever happened, so that's very exciting. What I do need to do though is write my priorities list for next week, so I know what goal actions next week Jess is gonna take. Next week's list is looking pretty good. I might add some more things, but for now I think that's okay, given it's supposed to be leisure week. I don't want to overload myself on leisure week.
For now though, we are having a second attempt of date night, which means we've got some popcorns. We're going to watch Mathregan 2.0. Dee. Let's do it.
Well, our movie was most enjoyable, and the world is very windy out there. It has been wet and windy and cold all day, and I am so looking forward to just getting into bed and going to sleep, which definitely needs to be done because it's almost 10:30. Didn't quite get my steps today, didn't quite get my water intake, definitely didn't get into bed before 10. That's alright, I can always do that tomorrow. I'm very much looking forward to leisure week. I think that having a kind of more soft productivity week and just being a little bit more chill will be nice. In order to make that happen though, I do need to go to bed. So now for something completely different. Start thinking, well, we had a most pleasant evening night out. Come along. The cooler is on. Who left you on? Probably me. Better. Starting today, we are God. She's killing it today, isn't she? Good morning. We don't say it like that. But that is a future decision to make. Right now, I need to blow.
Oh, that's a weird smile. I'm gonna do that again.
Don't hate me. Good morning. Nope, that's not how I say it either. Got the announcement for the early bird sales this morning. It would be get to good. I don't remember how I say this now. I've said it too many times. Now I'm confused.
Hello, friends.
Hello there. So we had our meeting with the bank, and by that I mean it was not that, so we're going to start that part again. Wah wah.
So much content for bloopers.
We're killing it.
Yay, happy Valentine's Day.
That's right, nerds. We're gonna be D&D people now.
Let's try all of that again. Even though it was a busy week, it was definitely a fun one, and I actually managed to get all of my priorities list items done, which is I think the first time ever in any of these challenges where that has happened. I guess that past Jess was just particularly good at making sure she wasn't biting off more than she could chew in that week. At least where her priorities list was concerned. It's also good to note that I got some bonus actions accomplished throughout the week, so these are ones that weren't necessarily on the priorities list, but still felt like a win getting them done. We need to make sure that we give ourselves credit for those ones too. In terms of routines, we definitely did not have perfect completion and a decent chunk of yellow on here, mainly because with eating as much food that wasn't prepared in our house as we did, it meant that it was kind of hard to get a read on whether or not I stuck within my calorie deficit, but next week we should have more home home-cooked meals, so hopefully it won't be as much of a problem. In terms of my weight loss targets, I started the week at 90.9 and ended the week at 90.9. So not necessarily tending in the direction that I had hoped for, but maybe next week will be better. What's more important is that I keep doing the actions that I know over time will take me where I want to go. All in all, I'm really pleased with how the week went. Even though it was busy, I still got a lot done, and I know in part that's really down to my weekly planning routines that very much help support me in getting as much done as I do. We do have a separate video that walks you through the entire of my weekly planning process and the parts that are instrumental in helping me work on and achieve my goals. And if you were curious about what that looked like, then this video is the next one to check out. In that one, I show you all of the aspects of my weekly planning that help me to be my most productive self. So click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.